Rice is a staple food for over half of the world's population, and nowhere is it more ingrained in the diet than in the People's Democratic Republic of Laos. But for many children in this country, over-reliance on this traditional dish is taking a serious toll on their health. The People's Democratic Republic of Laos in Southeast Asia has one of the highest consumptions of rice per capita in the world. In rural areas, rice has traditionally provided 80% of people's daily diet. But while it's a rich source of energy, rice doesn't contain all of the nutrients needed for adequate nutrition, particularly for children. And an over-reliance on rice has left many children here dangerously undernourished. More than a third of under 5-year-olds in Laos are underweight, and almost half are stunted, the highest figures in the region. Singh San Yalad, deputy head of Tongwai Health Centre, says many mothers aren't even aware of the problem.
Parents are not feeding their children properly because they don't know about nutrition. And when the children get sick, they don't know why. That's why it's important to screen every child in rural villages for malnutrition.
Singh and his team are amongst over 200 health workers across the 3 provinces most heavily affected by malnutrition who identify and treat severely malnourished children. Although based in health centres, today they have travelled to distant villages to screen children under 5. They work closely with community volunteers who use mid-upper arm circumference tape to diagnose malnutrition early.
Today we found 9 children suffering from moderate acute malnutrition and 2 from severe acute malnutrition.
This €1.2 million programme, supported by UNICEF, the European Union and the government of Laos, aims to educate communities about the causes of malnutrition and treat those who are suffering from it. Children like 11-month-old Maud, who's been brought here by his aunt and is suffering from severe acute malnutrition.
When we find cases of severe acute malnutrition, we provide 2 weeks' worth of ready-to-use therapeutic food, which we receive from UNICEF. After 2 weeks, we do a follow-up with the patient to see whether or not the weight has improved.
Maud's story is typical of many children under 5 in Laos. After being breastfed as an infant, he was moved onto rice, and now it's all he eats. His mother is a migrant worker on distant coffee plantations, and it's his aunt who now cares for him. She's given ready-to-use therapeutic food and told how to feed him.
The doctor advised me about my nephew's health. He told me that he is malnourished and that he needs to be treated and checked again in 2 weeks' time.
He
told me that if he continues to be malnourished, it will affect his health.
Malnutrition affects both the physical and cognitive development of children, and more than a third of child deaths globally are linked to malnutrition. Children under 2 here are also routinely given micronutrient powder to be added to meals. Each sachet contains a recommended daily allowance of 15 vitamins and minerals and reduces anemia and iron deficiency, both symptoms of malnutrition. But long-term, the solution is education. Local women have been trained to teach pregnant women and mothers about what to feed their children to ensure proper nutrition. Each month brings new lessons and new advice.
I went to the district headquarters for training, and now I give the women here health education. I teach them about nutrition and hygiene practices.
Mrs. Vone is head of the village branch of the Lao Women's Union.
Since I started this, I've noticed that there's less sickness in the village, and that children are much healthier and better nourished.
Back in Bangtang Yo, Maud's aunt now knows what to do to make sure that her nephew has a healthy, balanced diet.
From now on, in addition to the paste, I'll add meat, eggs, fruit and vegetables to his food to make it rich and to make him healthy.
Across Laos, this growing awareness of nutrition is changing eating and feeding habits. And for the nation's children, it's hoped that this will also bring an end to malnutrition.